The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Welcome to another episode of the 15-Point Plan podcast. My name is Ryan Greigg, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co-host, Jacqueline Smith. Jacqueline, today we have a topic that is so important, whether you're working on your business, whether you're working on your health, whether you're working on your relationships, and it is the ability to say no, right?
Oh my gosh, it's so important, and it's something I noticed just through coaching agents over the years, how challenging it is for people to say no. And once they do, how empowering it is. And I've actually been learning this on a whole new level lately, personally, myself. So that's why I wanted to have a conversation about it, because I'm actually realizing how challenging it can be to say no to certain things, especially good things that you want to do.
Right. We want to give. We want to be a part of things. We want to talk about all the things that we've done and all the neat things that we've done. And sometimes doing all those things prevents us from actually doing the things that got us there in the first place. And we start saying yes to all these things. And that can apply to so many things. We start saying yes because we had a long day. And I say yes to the donuts, Jacqueline. And I say yes to the late night Netflix, Jacqueline. And I say yes to staying up later than I should. And what I'm saying is, no, Ryan, you don't need to get up tomorrow morning and do the things that make you feel so good. So it can apply to so many areas. But we wanted to talk about saying no to the things that aren't in alignment with getting us closer to our goal. Is simply what it is, right?
Yeah. And I think it's just, it really is easy to say yes, right? So if someone asks, like I was sharing with Ryan, like I've been asked to do, different podcast episodes and webinars and go to events that I really want to go to, but I'm working on the final stages of my private pilot's license, and my check ride is on May 24th. And I actually did say yes to some things. And I was feeling super overwhelmed and overextended, and I had to go back after I said yes, which is more uncomfortable, I think, than just saying no in the first place, is when you have said yes,
right,
out of just habit, and then have to go back and say, you know what, I should not have said yes to this, and I need to say no. And it just kind of got me thinking, I talk to a lot of people, and Ryan talks to a lot of people about the 15-point plan. People reach out to us, and the most common thing I hear is like how challenging it is to stay on the plan. Like you do it for a few days and then you like fall off the wagon, so to speak, And the same thing happens with people when I'm talking to them about following their calendar too. They'll do all this planning and they'll get everything on their calendar, and then for some reason it's really challenging to follow it. And I'm like having this aha, just because I'm going through this personally, that it's because we struggle to say no.
Yeah.
Especially when the things that we're saying yes to are opportunities, things that we really want to do. But what happens is, if we commit to something, like let's use the 15-point plan as an example. You decide, oh my goodness, this is what I need to do. I need this in my life. I'm committing to doing the 15-point plan for the next 30 days. Well, you're not going to be able to do it unless you create space for those things in your life. And if you are overextended already, now you're adding the 15-point plan, you're adding 15 things to your to-do list. Well, no wonder you struggle, right? We've got to learn how to create space. So saying no is creating space for a yes.
That's right. Absolutely. And what I think about when the 15-point plan comes up and helping us in this category is the easiest point on there to remind us of this. It's the goals box. What are our goals and why? And are the things that we're saying yes to directly and immediately in alignment with those goals? And the quote, if it's not a heck yes, it's a heck no. If it's not a heck yes, this is going to be one step closer to my goal. If it's not a heck yes, I'm going to do this because it's going to help me become a better person. then it's a heck no. We gotta draw that line. Steve Jobs said 1,000 no's for every yes. We have to be very careful about the things that we're saying yes to, because if we say yes to everything that comes our way, especially if you're a successful realtor like Jacqueline is, and you're a really cool person and you're a freaking pilot and you just did 75 hard and you got an amazing husband like Phil, like people are going to reach out to you and they're going to say, hey, how'd you do it? Hey, you got a minute? You got a minute? Can you tell me how you did it? And you start talking about how you did it instead of doing it. And next thing you know, after a month of talking about how we did it, we stop doing it and we're actually farther from those goals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think two things come up. Number one, just how important this is, because the number one thing that will erode your self-worth and your self-confidence is not following through on things that you commit to yourself for, right? Like the 15-point plan, doing your workouts, doing your journaling, whatever it is in your life that you keep telling yourself you're going to do, and then you keep not doing it. We all have that thing. Every listener right now, you're thinking of something in your life, as I'm saying this, that you keep on wanting to do and keep on not doing. And that habit is really eroding your self-worth and your self-confidence. And so this is so important to figure out how to say no. And I think a really simple thing that I had an aha about is we just don't practice saying no. So when someone asks you something, actually Brennan Burchard did an episode in this a long while back, and it just occurred to me. He has a script because he gets asked all the time. I mean, he's a best-selling author, he's a speaker, and he can't say yes to everything, you know? And so one of the things I remember him talking about is like, you do not need to apologize. So I always feel like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it. You know, that's like, listen to that language. I'm sorry, I can't.
Right.
No wonder we don't want to say no. We don't want to say we can't. We don't want to say sorry. So it was just something, I mean, this isn't the script he gave, but this is what I've been saying lately. I'm so thankful that you thought of me. That means so much. I'm committed to some other priorities right now, and my schedule will free up next month. So let's revisit this. If it's something that I want to do, I just can't right now, then just push it out, right? Thank them. So I'm not saying I'm so sorry. I'm actually really busy right now and I can't do that. That's not powerful, empowering language. And so if you switch it, you're thanking them for thinking of you, and then you're letting them know I'm committed to other priorities right now. And you can just leave it at that. If it's not something you want to kick the can down the road for.
I think that's super smart. And that's what I was thinking too, of empowering yourself to say, you know, Jacqueline, thank you. Wow. I appreciate you thinking of me. I would love to do that. And in the real estate world, what we train our people to say is, I would love to meet with you. Before I say yes, let me check my calendar.
Yeah.
So if we have our life blocked out, if we have our calendar planned, if we have the really, truly important things on our calendar, then we can say that. You can say, Jacqueline, I would love to meet with you, but you know what? I've got a couple of appointments today. I've got my son's soccer tryouts later tonight. I've got my date night tomorrow. It doesn't look like I have much availability this week, but I would love to talk with you on that. And then you can dictate if that will fit. And you could say something like, you know what? Hey, I'm available Saturday morning at 6 a.m. And that person might go, oh, Saturday at 6. Well, I don't know if that's going to work for me. Well, now we've said we're happy to talk about that thing, but it's not in our priority box. So we're going to do it outside of our priority time. Or maybe we just say next month. And if it's that important to that person or that thing, well, we'll leave it up to them to follow up with us. And then it'll happen if it's meant to happen.
Yeah. So I guess tip number 1 is to practice saying no. And this is wildly important. I was just texting with an agent yesterday or the day before, and she was saying how like she never gets a day off. Right? How many people out there, like, especially if you're in real estate, like you don't remember the last time you took the day off. I remember in my first year working so much, and my husband telling me one day that he was taking me to the beach just for the day, and that I was going to leave my laptop and my phone at home. And I was crying
Yeah.
because I could not remember the last time I had the day off, and I was so excited.
Right.
That is not healthy, you know? And there's seasons. Sure, we do these sprints. Like there are times where you need to go on these sprints, right? But if you are years into the business and you still can't take a day off, I'm sorry, but that is something you have to learn to do.
100%. You really got to look at your schedule and think, am I busy or am I being productive? And most of these things can wait. And especially when you set the expectation. Jacqueline, I have a question for you, because a lot of things, what we've talked about is saying no to other people. And that, okay, we've
Yeah.
covered that. But a lot of times we got to say no to ourselves.
Mhm.
We get asked to do things, sure, but that's other people. But how can we say no to ourselves when there's nobody else around? There's nobody watching. There's nobody going to know if I eat that donut at night. There's nobody going to know if I stay up late and watch Netflix. How can we focus on outside of other people, being true to ourselves and saying no to ourselves when it most matters?
Well, I think that's a great question. And you have to remember that every yes has a corresponding no. And I think of like, what's the cost of saying yes to this?
Hmm.
So, I mean, okay, audience, we all hear Ryan talk about donuts like they're criminals.
they,
Um,
are, they are my weakness. I drive by the donut store every stinking day on my way to the office.
okay, the poor donuts, okay? They are not criminal. But think about, what are your goals, and then what is the cost of saying yes to something? So like if my goal is I want to go for a walk with my husband every night, right?
Right.
I have to say no to being a lump on the log, right? That's what I call it.
That's right.
I'm a lump on a log sitting on the couch. I have to say no to um, maybe even some client meetings at that time because I want to prioritize my marriage and going on a walk with my husband after a busy day.
Right.
So, you know, I think of it that way. Like, what's the cost? Like, there is a cost, and I don't think we put any thought into it. I think we just say yes without thinking. And so I loved your pause with the calendar thing. Like, let me check my calendar. So, the same thing if you're by yourself, like maybe there's a pause. You know, Mel Robbins does what, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to get out
Yeah.
of bed or to make a decision. Like,
Right.
what's a pause that you can insert so you can really think about, like, do I want that donut? Right?
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
And
yeah, I want it, but what's the cost of having the donut?
yeah, and I think there's a cost, there's an opportunity cost, there's a mental cost, but also there's the cost of for me, I look at the deeper level, Jacqueline, it's the cost of me not being true to myself. And that's probably the heaviest cost. Thinking, you know what, I made a plan. Like at the beginning of the week, I said I was going to do this, and I said I was going to eat specific things at specific times or not. And if I break that promise to myself, that is the heaviest cost.
Mm.
Then my word doesn't mean anything to myself. And if my word doesn't mean anything to myself, that cost to my people is way too heavy for me to bear.
Yeah, and I don't think you have to say no for like the rest of your life to everything. And there's a saying, right? Like one day at a time. And
That's
it
right.
just, what you were saying, it reminded me of when I quit alcohol. And when I quit alcohol, I kind of had like this really like weird moment where I was like, wait a second. What about if I go to Croatia and I want to have prosecco on a boat? What if I go to Italy and I want to have a glass of wine with spaghetti? It's just like all these like things that I hadn't done in life yet, like reeled through my head. And I was like, hold up,
Uh-huh.
let's just do it for a year. Right. That for me, it was like, I'm going to do it for a year. And once I did it for a year, I mean, now I'm going to go to Croatia and I'm going to go on a boat and I'm going to have sparkling water. You know, it's no big deal.
Right.
But what is it that you are maybe saying no to that, or you want to say no to it, but it kind of freaks you out to say no forever? Just say no for today. Like Ryan's not going to have a donut today.
That's right.
Tomorrow he can decide if he wants a donut or not.
That's right.
He doesn't have to say, I'm never going to have a donut again.
That's
Right?
right. I think that's so smart, Jacqueline. One day at a time. 1 hour at a time, one decision at a time. Stop worrying about the future. We cause so much stress on ourselves. And if we know the mission of this podcast and the plan is to give us more energy and less stress, so much stress in our life comes from the things that are far out in time that may not ever happen. So let's just take it one day at a time, 1 hour, and even one decision at a time. And we know that every decision that we make that's the right choice for us, we've strengthened that muscle in our brain. Our brain has gotten stronger to make the right decisions, to say no to ourselves when we need to, which will make it easier to say no to the world when we need to, so that we can stay on track for our goals and for our life.
Yep. Okay, but before we go, I have to make a confession now.
Uh-oh. Let's hear it.
Whenever, like, now that you talked about donuts today, now I'm craving one. So it's your
I crave
fault.
them every day. Like I said, I drive by the dang donut store every day.
Like, I want one. I'm gonna go get one today. I'm gonna eat one for you, because I don't have that rule.
Well, have one for me. And I guess as you say that, like I don't want one right now. And the reason is because I've literally driven by that dang store. I'm celebrating 10 years in real estate. I've driven to my office for 10 years now. I have driven by that store thousands of times, and thousands of times I have wanted to, but I have not. And now when I drive by, it's not even a thought.
Right.
So that is a good example. When you do something enough times, your brain says, you know what? I don't want that. You've trained me, Ryan, to think, I don't want that. I don't want it. Now, of course, I'll have a donut on the weekend.
Okay, weekends are for donuts. Ryan, when you move offices, are you going to still drive by the donut place?
There is a donut shop on the freaking corner of that block, Jacqueline.
Okay, well,
the donuts are so, and let the donuts be a metaphor of your life. The donuts, or whatever your vice is, they're never going to go away. Strengthen your mental toughness enough to be okay with those things out there. Eat them when you want to and not when you don't.
There you go. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in again. We hope this was valuable. Hey, go say no to something this week. Just don't say no to me. Just kidding. You can say no to me. But don't say no to the 15-Point Plan podcast, because we love you. We're glad you're here. And we hope we are adding value to your life. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
That's right. Don't forget, check winmakegive.com. Follow Jacqueline and I on Instagram. Send us a message. Ryan Park, Greigg, and Jacqueline Ray Smith. Whole bunch of other amazing podcasts on that network. And until next time, we thank you for listening. Bye, everyone.